Hey everyone, welcome to another video here on the Carpet Guy channel. I know you don't usually post. It's been really busy these days, but today we're going to be looking at the Sadgo 15 years later. This came out in 2008 or 2007, so it's about 15 years old. I picked this one up on eBay, and I know they're shutting down the 101 standard definition stuff, so I think I'd want to do like a last minute video before they actually shut everything down. So I'd like to sort of set it up at a final point and show you how everything works. The battery inside this unit is actually long failed, and they don't sell the new batteries anymore, so I had to improvise. I opened up the unit and replaced the DC power with this so that I could plug it into a battery. This is just a simple 12 volt battery with enough amps to get this thing going. I believe it's 12 volt 12 amp hour battery, so it basically runs this unit for about 2 or 3 hours, give or take, so good enough for any little game. And as I said, this is the Sadgo unit, so it's basically so you can watch TV anywhere in the United States, portably usually. It's shaped like a briefcase, and it has like these nice heavy duty clips to open up the unit, and it opens like this. And this is the dish here. This actually has an LNB behind it, a single output LNB for 101. And this is the actual TV. And usually you can actually aim these dishes also for Dish Network satellites one at a time, actually. So you can't use the TV receiver built in, the D11. However, you can plug in a Dish Network receiver to this to receive Dish Network satellites, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna rotate this guy around. This dish is actually rotatable, but I'll explain that in a little bit, but I'll basically get everything set up and I'll keep going here. Alright, so we do have power now to the Sadgo. It's probably harder to see, but you see on the right, there is a blue light. And yep, there it is. It's doing the quick diagnostic test that the standard receivers do. So on the front is just a basic Sadgo logo, and then the display, which is about 17 inches. It is a Samsung display. On the bottom here, you have some controls for the D11 built-in receiver. And I also brought out my own remote here. On the top, there are buttons to control the actual Samsung display. These are independent from the actual D11. On the back here, it's just my own setup. In here, there's supposed to be a DC connector that you plug in, and then there's an internal battery. But like I said, the internal battery failed, and there's no internal batteries on the market, so I had to improvise. So I just took the DC plug-in that used to live there. I turned it into this, and I ran wires to a battery, so that's how this thing's being powered right now. So yeah, on the back there are a bunch of connectors to use for the display itself. You can use the display as a video monitor for video game consoles, other cable boxes, etc. So it's not just a DIRECTV receiver that you can use a bunch of other displays as well. And then there's also the coax port, obviously. That's plugged in directly to the LNB here, and it's plugged into the Z11 there. And something also interesting about this receiver / Sadgo is that it uses a SIM card rather than a physical access card, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's get to aiming this thing now. So it's a regular dish. There's a handy compass feature on the front here, as everyone remembers. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of here. I'll go into this parental phase and system setup. Okay, so I'm in the signal strength now. Just make sure before you go to signal strength that you are in the right settings for a 18-inch single output non-swim LNB. So I am here, perfect, that's the right settings. Now we'll just go to signal strength and signal meter. And if there is an internal speaker, like I said, on these meters, which is pretty cool. So you can go ahead and aim the dish. And so pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try to find a different place for the dish, maybe, where I can get a signal better. And I'll be right back with you guys, maybe because I can't get a signal over here. Alright, so I was out much longer than I needed to be. This Super Buddy I needed because something along with the cable that I was using, so I had to try several different cables until one gave me an issue that wasn't working. I mean, someone didn't give me the issue that I was having where it couldn't receive adequate power. Anyway, this thing really helps, so you should bring this when you're trying to aim these dishes. Bring one of these things. It helps so much because the D11 itself is so delayed. So one of these guys will help you tremendously when aiming your dish. Otherwise, you can use the meter that's built into the receiver, which just doesn't work as well. So it looks like it's acquiring information here, so it should work in a little bit. But just to show you what signal I'm getting on this dish, let me come here. So this is transponder 1. I'm getting about 80%. I aimed the dish, took about 10 minutes. It is a bit cloudy, so maybe that's why I was struggling to get the signal. But there's a built-in compass, like I said before, and I think I aimed it just about right, because lowering the dish screws up the signal and higher it also screws up the signal. Moving left screws up the signal. Oh, actually it didn't. It actually got it better. Alright, let me move that a little bit else. Alright. So I did actually increase the signal by a little bit. So there's a coax coming from there. Comes over here to the satellite in port on the Super D11. It's also got these other ports. It's all good to go now. I just peaked it to 84, which is probably the highest it's going to get because it's a smaller dish. So let's hit up channel 100 here. Looks like it does have the correct date and time, which is always good to know. Alright, it's going to need to acquire information from the satellite. Give me just a second here while I repeat the satellite setup. Okay. Repeat satellite setup. Okay, it's going to repeat that setup there, and it should be done in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is great if you're outside on a day like today, you just want to watch your TV. It's not a terribly big setup compared to this thing, which is for my other installations, which is a 3-foot dish. I mean, it gets bigger, so it's a bit trickier, but this is a nice small 14 inch dish and a 18-inch screen, so. Oh, that's never good. Hold on. I don't know why it's showing an issue with the tuner. No, tuners are perfectly fine. I'm just gonna say continue. It's just having an issue with the tuner. But I'll think it's just a manual issue. So, yeah. So I'm gonna have to put a bunch of stuff back inside because I had to take it outside to get this thing to work. And yeah, I did make a whole new hole, like I said, to get everything to work. Put it right into the hole that used to be the DC power. So I just turned it into this. But yeah, on the front there are several buttons for the picture and everything, including the battery health and stuff like that. It says the battery's at 70%. It's really not. It's a glitch. I don't know why it says that. And oh yes, you can do closed captioning on these, which is something I didn't know until after the fact. So, like for example, I'm just gonna do CC1. I think that's like the general one. So now it does have closed captioning, which is pretty neat. There's also ways to edit the sound capabilities. It's just a one setting. Okay. There's also settings here: language, closed captioning, brightness, and battery. Okay. And then did I go through picture already? I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't go through picture, so it's just stuff like this. Okay. Looks like I just acquired information there, so I'm gonna take the remote and get us to the right channel here for the guide data. I'm sorry, DIRECTV information. And oh yeah, there we go. The speakers aren't terrible on this either. And yeah, here's the D11. And as a note, there's actually a channel that's free to air for DIRECTV right now on the receivers. It's C-SPAN 2. So if you want to hop in and check it out. Yeah, there it is. In each case, the task was the same. So that's it. I mean, transform the stately hall into a proper setting for the marriage ceremony. It is what it is. I mean, and in each case, the planner and workmen had to contend with the problem. What's interesting is that the dish doesn't really have a point where it's not going to receive a signal. Like, I think all areas do something. If I put my whole hand on there, even if I put my whole hand on the dish, it still receives a signal, which is pretty cool. So I guess it's just like a thing. If I put my whole body behind it, it's gonna get triggered, I believe. That's with me in front of it. Otherwise, it works perfectly fine. I mean, I'm sure it would last for like 2 hours, probably, like I said. And there's a closed captioning, like I had enabled it before. And yeah, great for watching sports, but although this receiver is standard definition, I don't know how many channels are going to be up after they cancel standard definition, so I don't know. But it's still good these things, I guess, still work. So yeah, I mean, pretty neat. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. And there's proof the signal. Signals are not bad. Peace out, everyone. Hopefully you can also buy one of these units and see the end of life of it. It'd be pretty neat to see that, but yeah, peace out.